everyone, and welcome back to Relocate Guru, the place to help you feel like a local no matter where you move to. And today we are lucky to be joined with the fabulous Sundae Schneider-Bean from Expat Happy Hour, sharing us some tips to help us reconnect with our friends and family when we feel distant and far away when we've moved abroad. So thank you so much, Sundae, for joining us today.
I am so happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
So tell us a bit more about your journey and like what led you to starting Expat Happy Hour and your life journey to this point and what the work that you do.
Okay, well, I've lived abroad for 20 years. I moved in 1998. Sort of, long story short, I studied abroad in Spain, backpacked through Southeast Asia, met a Swiss guy in Vietnam, gave up everything, moved to Switzerland, recreated myself, learning new languages and getting my master's degree in intercultural communication because living abroad was such a challenge around navigating, intercultural relationships and working in a new place. And that experience was really raw because this was 20 years ago, right? So we didn't have, Relocate Guru, we didn't have Facebook groups, none of that. I had to figure it out on my own. And it led me to follow my passion and interest in living across cultures and making the most of your situation, no matter where you're at. So why did I start Expat Happy Hour? So I'm an intercultural strategist and a solution-oriented coach. I work with clients all the time around the world. And I started Expat Happy Hour because I wanted to reach more people, people who weren't my clients. I wanted to share some of the things that I was learning and help set expectations, what to expect, what are the challenges that are coming. Because, when I was working with my clients, I realized, some of the challenges are shared. And if I could take some of the learnings from that and pass it on through my podcast, I could impact more than just my one client, but, hundreds or thousands of people. So that's why I started Expat Happy Hour. I give really straight talk on the reality.
Yeah, no, it's like it gets really so if you are just discovering this or it's the first time you're thinking about moving, and a lot of the challenges I'm finding are relevant whether you're moving within the same country. Like you have culture shock and go through a lot of the challenges of having to pick up your life and move somewhere new away from your support systems, all of those challenges, whether you're just moving to a new city within your own country. So we tend to sort of like see the word expat and think that doesn't apply to us. So we don't get access to all these resources that are available because they are shared experiences. So,
well, and I would also look, it's an opportunity because, the strategies that you need to cross countries, and move countries regularly are sort of like top level strategies. So if you're moving city, you've got the best possible strategies, you know what I mean? And I have people all the time who are, let's say, moving domestically within the United States say, hey, Sunday, I know I'm an expat, but thanks for that, podcast, because it really helped me when I moved from Minnesota to Nebraska.
Exactly. And it's like there's so many things that we think we're so alone and isolated, but like hundreds of millions of people are doing this every single year. So you are going to find people that have been there before, have got the experience and picked up those tips. And we can share those and just make it a bit easier.
Yeah. Because it's about change and transition, isn't it? It's about, hey, I just lifted my entire life up and I've replanted it somewhere else. Even if you're doing it, like you said, within your own country, you still have to go through the exact same process of, making your way in the new city, knowing where to go, finding people you connect with, staying connected with those that you love in the city that you left behind. And the same thing applies.
Exactly. And that's where we want to talk about you today is that when we do move, whether it's 50 miles to a new city or 5,000 miles around the world, keeping connected with the people that we love can be really challenging. And you sort of like find that really close friendships drift apart, or you don't keep in touch with the people that you love as much as you wish you did. And it's like you still need that support when you're in somewhere new and you still want to have that connection. So what tips shall we sort of like share to help make that easier for everyone listening today?
Well, I would start by one thing I think people do, and I'm going to talk about the 50 miles away person and across, around the world person.
Mm-hmm.
The 50 miles away person is like, I'm just, same language, same currency, you don't even think that you're going to be far. So you don't anticipate the fact that you're going to miss people or that you might feel like you're going to lose connections. And that's one mistake people make, is that they don't anticipate that relatively closer move could have a big impact on their relationships. So they're caught off guard once they're there, and maybe they might feel like something's wrong and something's not good, and they feel alone and empty, and they might project it on their city. Like, this city is terrible, no one's friendly. And what it really is actually they miss their loved ones back home. They miss that community, but because they didn't anticipate it, they're not realizing that the way they're feeling is not about the city. It's about missing important people back home. So for the people who are going only 50 miles down the road, I would say anticipate that there's going to be a renegotiation of your relationships even if you're in the same time zone, even if it's the same language, but anticipate and plan for that. For the people who are going halfway around the world, the opposite is there, meaning I'm going so far away that our time differences are going to be so big. I know I'll miss them. So it's like, these people are so important to me, and I'll need them when I'm on the other side of the world, that they don't think that they need to actively nurture it because it's a given, right? Like, if you have a great relationship with your, best friend or your mother, you're like, oh, we'll make time for it. We'll figure it out.
We're going to Skype every week. It's going to,
right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think both people make mistakes there, that it's, that they're not anticipating the challenge. So that's one. What else? I mean, I think for me, I am a connection junkie. So my relationships are really important. I would give yourself some space when you do make the move, right? When you get there, to let things be a little bit wobbly. But once you're there, I would be active in how you nurture relationships before too much time passes, right? And I have a very simple method I like to offer. It's called the FAR method. And it's when you start feeling far away from your people, and that means like in your heart, or also geographically, then all I ask you to do is a FAR method. F is for focus. Like, who are the people that I'm feeling far from? Who are the people I'm missing? And I usually do this, I don't know, if I'm in a car ride and I'm thinking about someone I love, I'm like, God, who am I not really connecting with right now? And one person that, wasn't on my radar for a long time was my brother. And then suddenly I did the FAR method and he popped up, because I realized for some reason we haven't been connecting over Messenger or Skype. So, the first step is FAR. Who do you feel like you want to focus on? And maybe pick 5 people. And this isn't like in your head, this is in your heart kind of thing. I miss my sister, I miss my brother, oh, my college best friend, whatever it is. Maybe you have professional people that you want to stay connected with. Maybe your old boss or a colleague you used to work with will also pop up. So pick a maximum 5 people to focus. Then do assess. And assess means, how close do I feel to them? And this is the way I look at it, a little bit more nuanced than most people would look at. My philosophy is that I want my people to know that I love the crap out of them, that I love them to pieces, right? That they're important to me. So I want 2 things when I want that to be clear. Do they know that's how I feel about them? And is that bond there? Okay. So for example, my sister knows I love the crap out of her. She knows that. But if I haven't spoken to her for 2 months, then maybe that intimate bond doesn't feel very present. So that's what I would ask for assess is, those are the 5 people. Do they know how you feel about them? And if it's professional, you could say, do they know how much you appreciate them professionally? Do they know how you still feel connected to them as a colleague. So you can do it for personal and also for professional. And it's something as simple as like a scale. Let me see if I have my scale with me. If you have, you know, this is like in your body, you're like, how connected do I feel? Do I feel not connected or super connected? And in your body, you're like, we're right here, right? And then you'll see who is the most important person that you need to start connecting with. And that's where the R comes in. That's the sort of recalibrate. How do, you know, recalculate on the GPS, you know, I'm off track. Let's bring it back. So maybe, you know, with your sister, you're right in the middle, but you really want to be up here. Yeah. So that's where you look at, okay, what do I need to sort of recalculate with the relationship? And that's where you start reaching out to them and let them know that you were thinking about them, or say, hey, it's time for a Skype call. Or there are a lot of ways that you can reach out to stay connected.
Amazing. So to recap, that's focus on the people that you want to reconnect with.
Yep.
Assess how do you feel in your heart and about those people, and where are they on that scale? And then, get reconnected.
Recalculate like the GPS. And this doesn't have to take a lot of time, right? This could be when you're waiting at the post office.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I've been in a post office, but yeah.
You obviously do not live in South Africa.
No, which is really fun because it's like different countries, you need to do different things more often. But it's like, yeah, in the UK, everything's online. But right. I think the equivalent would be, I don't know, sitting in the queue for the petrol or something.
Waiting in a red light.
Yeah.
Right? Waiting for the pinwheel on your computer to stop spinning. It's about being mindful, right? And listen, I know this is not rocket science. This is not complex. This is not, you know, mind-blowingly different. And it's so simple that it is powerful. That if you are able to apply the FAR method every month, every 3 months, you will not lose connection with your core people.
And that is so important, to keep that support system, because if you don't have that core support system of people that you really care about, when you're in a new city or a new country, you begin to lose that kind of part of your identity, which can like lead you into this downward spiral of like, I don't know even who I am anymore. And yes, you're making new friends and you're wanting to spend time and invest in your new connections, but having some kind of back, like the people that really have your back, and being close to them is so important.
Because for me, it's all about living abroad without regrets, or living where you are without regretting, right? And, you know, we know that when you really get down to it, it's about people. And if you're not nurturing your relationships, you can feel lonely, you can feel isolated. When you need support and no one's there, that can be super hard. But if we're investing in our relationships, that makes everything easier. And this is why I keep bringing up the job part too, the professional side. This is also true professionally, because I work with accompanying partners who give up their jobs and they move abroad, and then they might get busy with their family, and then a few years later they're ready to reconnect professionally. But there's been this silence for 2 years, for 3 years, or whatever, and they're like, oh, now I need recommendations for LinkedIn, or I want to see if anybody's hiring, but you've had silence.
Yeah.
And that is a harder place to begin than if you had kept connected with the people that are in your professional network, right?
Definitely. So what kind of tricks that we could, like, if we're finding it hard to do that reconnect piece, sort of like, where do we start?
Well, I would just look at what are you doing already. I call it this, there's a connection spiral of technology, I call it. And I imagine it like, you're not connecting. That's at the bottom of the spiral. And then you just want to go a little bit higher up the spiral where you're at. So for example, if I haven't spoken to my sister in a while, I'll send her a message. But maybe I'm messaging her and I'm still not feeling connected. Then I'll take it up one level, and very, very simple without getting into the details of the spiral. It's like, If I'm texting, maybe I should send a voice message. If I'm, doing voice messages, maybe I should send a video, etc. And you keep going as close as you can to basically being there in real life. And it adds a layer of playfulness and connection that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I know, for example, when I was in Burkina Faso in West Africa, I noticed a big drop in how often my family texts me, because it was hard with the technology that I was using. So we had this huge drop with connecting. But if I called or if they called, we got through. So texting wasn't working anymore, that we had to go up, to the audio. I just found a new app that with one of my girlfriends from college. So we were texting, okay, and then we were doing audio messages, and every time I did an audio message, I would hear something like, "Oh, Sunday, it's so nice to hear your voice." If everybody is texting, it does feel good to hear someone's voice.
Yeah.
If you're doing the audio and you're feeling that way, well, what about a crazy video every once in a while so they can actually see you and be back? So anyway, my friend, she's the one recommending this to me. I thought it was great. She did this thing called with Marco Polo. It's an app, and you can send videos, and it records the video, and then it will send it. It's really probably an embarrassing video. Let me see if I can. So it'll show a little video that you record, and then she'll look at it when she wants to. You don't have to, it's not on demand. So it still respects time zone differences. And it respects that, hey, if I'm coaching and she's sending these messages, I can wait until after I'm done to look at them. So those are little things, and they can make such a big difference.
So is it a bit like Snapchat, but not on the time?
Right.
Kind of thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. No, I love finding out about new tech and new apps. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And this is also true. One thing I want to say for people who have kids, they need to think about this for the grandparent and grandchild relationship.
Definitely.
Because some grandparents are very, excited about technology. Some kids can't text, or too young, So my 6-year-old will send like poop emojis to his grandma. And it's like the funniest way to connect with her. And then she'll send, emojis of lollipops back. But they're connecting. And it's
my 86-year-old grandmother uses FaceTime on her iPad, and I love it.
Awesome.
And
my mother, she creates like, what are those emojis called when it's from a photo of you? Like it's her, but in a
no way.
Oh my gosh, all the time. Or she'll send me like Snapchat videos of her with like sunglasses on and stuff.
That is so cool.
It's like that's a whole other topic. Like when technology gets in the wrong hands, that's that conversation.
Yeah, so it's like my nan, bless her heart, like she doesn't have the concept of that people might be busy like during the day, so she will FaceTime during meetings or like just whenever.
She needs Marco Polo.
Yeah, like she could pop up on FaceTime right now. It's like it's really like random. Yeah, I had her in a meeting like up on FaceTime when I was doing a presentation, and she was like, "Oh, let me just be a second, darling."
I love it. You have to like block her, like put it on your do not disturb list. It's terrible.
That is just so cute. But I think those are really fantastic. We're so lucky this day and age that we've got all these tools, but that can also lead to that not anticipating it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying at the beginning, and it's like if you are just moving to a next city, like say you're just moving from London to Boston, like the cultural shock can be just as the culture shift can be quite different between those, and they're only like 3 hours away.
Right. Yep.
Or like here to Edinburgh, but it's like people think, oh yeah, I'll come down and visit. It's only a day trip, but it never happens because people's lives get busy and they don't make the time. So, and you think like, oh yeah, we've got all this technology, but so it's just like, what can we do to sort of like go up that spiral and keep the connection with the people that really matter the most?
And it's just about doing it. Like I said, that, you know, with the FAR method, it's about actively practicing it.
Mhm.
You know, if your goal is to be fit, you don't run twice a year, right? Like you run 3 times a week, 25 minutes every time, all year long. If you want to be connected to your people, it's the same thing. You don't wait after 18 months to pick up the phone. Some people, of course, you have that connection with, but we're talking long-term. I've been abroad for 20 years. And some of my best friends I've known for 25. And that only is strong because of this commitment to my relationship health. Just like you commit to your health when you want to run. It's the same thing.
And that's it. Like I have friends from university. 20 years ago. Damn.
Don't make me age myself. I already just said 25 years.
And they are scattered all around the world. But I know that if I pick up the phone to any of them, that it will just be like the last day we met. And those are really special people. And even one of them sends me a wedding anniversary card every year that was at my wedding.
Oh,
My parents, like my mom, my parents, my in-laws don't send us wedding anniversary cards. But my friend from uni, she sends me a card every single year without fail, and that's a level of connection that is hard to find. Like people don't write cards as much these days, so it's like you can be offline with. You don't need to use technology to have that little connection. You could send a postcard or a little note in the post. Although I did try to do that at Christmas, and it took 4 months to get one to Africa. So
yep, I get my Christmas cards in February, March.
No matter how far I try to send things in advance, it doesn't quite work. But yeah, the main thing is to like keep in touch with the people that you really care about. And also that if you are, like what you were saying about keeping in touch with professional relationships, to get back in that workplace, like even just keeping in touch, so that you don't have that 2-3 year gap. And
this is why I just want to emphasize this. You know, the advice, keep in touch. Everybody knows that. Who is doing it well, right? Who is living it? That is the difference. The knowing, we all know, you know, to be healthy, you move more and you eat less or eat the right foods, but not everybody's walking around with a 6-pack and, you know, can finish marathons. It's about living it. That's the thing. And we get so busy in our everyday lives, especially when we're in transition from city to city or country to country. We get caught up in the everyday and we push those healthy habits aside. So it's about making the commitment of I am becoming the person who stays connected with my most important relationships. That is about becoming that person, not just knowing you should, but actually living it.
I think that's fantastic. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to be in Bangkok for the FIGT conference and sharing lots more tips and strategies there. So I'm so excited to be on a panel with Sundae. So I don't know when this recording will go out, but it will be that if you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments below. Sundae and I will sort of get back to you with them. And yeah, if you have any other tips and suggestions, add them to the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going of how we can keep connected with the people that we love the most when we move. So thank you so much, Sundae, for joining me today.
So happy to be here, and hello to everybody from the Relocate Guru tribe. Nice to be here.
And you can find Sundae at sundaybean.com and on the podcast Expat Happy Hour. Where can we find the podcast for anyone?
You can find it on iTunes or what's the Android version? Help me out. There's an Android version that you can also do it. And on my website at sundaybean.com/expat happy hour.
Fabulous. So you can get in touch with Sundae there for if you want to work with her or any more advice that you want from her. Like, she's got buckets loads of resources and so many tips. So you'll find something that will help you there. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And don't forget to download the Relocate Guru app to help you love your new city and where you live and feel at home anywhere. Take care. Have a great day.
Everybody.
Bye.
Download the app today and join our community to feel at home anywhere.